Sit down, Derek. Sit down, Derek. You want to dominate the whole regular season, dominate the playoffs, all of a sudden the championship game come, you want to act like you knew. Shake my head. But bring the secondary in, boys. Bring the secondary in. Y'all like them nice checks? Think about maybe getting that daughter that Bentley when she graduate? Well, that's looking real slow right now, because some of y'all getting cut. Man, Tyreek and Sammy was working you all day. I never seen such a thing. Mr. Jack Conklin, you do realize that in a football game we are trying to progress the ball forward, right? Okay, because your penalties were sending us backwards. Just making sure. Listen, man, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. After all, there ain't no place like Mahomes. Conference championship weekend, folks. Let's talk about it. Conference championship weekend has concluded, and we were treated to some pretty good games. Unfortunately, my Tennessee Titans fell one trip short of the Super Bowl. I couldn't be any more proud of this team, how much they've conquered. You know, even Marcus Mariota as a whole, he was such a class act, and he was so classy about his benching that happened about nearly halfway through the season. Obviously, you know, we benched him halfway through that Denver game in Week 6 and put Ryan Tannehill in, and that was the spark that this team needed. This team went on to win. They were 7-3, I believe, after that. The first round came, and we completely shut down the New England Patriots in Foxborough and shocked the world to advance. And then we did the same exact thing next week, and we annihilated the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. We then proceeded to go to Kansas City for championship weekend, and we got off to a decent start, but Patrick Mahomes was not going to be denied. And Patrick Mahomes is just such a brilliant and just unbelievable player in the NFL. And I think he's really going to have his hands full in the Super Bowl this year, and I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to overcome that. But it should be a very good Super Bowl. And unfortunately, like I said, I give props to the Titans. This is a hell of a team. We did fall short in the AFC Championship. We will be back next year to the AFC Championship. I don't know, but this is the type of stuff that fuels you to come back harder and stronger next season. Derrick Henry was unbelievable this year. Tannehill was I just saw some news about him being announced to the Pro Bowl, and that's damn sure deserved. I typically don't watch the Pro Bowl because I just don't care. A lot of people, you know, the Pro Bowl is really a game that most people don't care about. I may actually give it a shot this year and take a look at some of it just to see, you know, Tannehill and some of the other guys, especially since I started this YouTube channel and the NFL aspect of it as a whole. And that's definitely something that I might check out. Obviously, the Wrestling's Royal Rumble is that night as well, and I'll be looking to check that out as well, obviously, and have that reviewed and up for you wrestling fanatics that are watching this on the channel as well. So we had two games yesterday. The Titans going to Kansas City. Obviously, we fell short, and then we had some annihilation in the West Coast, and it looked like for a second in the second half that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers may pull off this comeback, but that did not happen. So let's get started. Let's talk about our reviews. The very first game, the AFC Championship. The Titans going to Kansas City looking to slow down that offense some way, some shape or form in this game. Now, the Titans very early were in control of this game for the most part. A.J. Brown had a nice reception. Titans got a field goal on their first drive. It was 3-0 Tennessee Titans. And then, all of a sudden, the Titans got the ball back, and Derrick Henry scored on a touchdown run. It was now 10-0 Titans. However, there was a pass to Tyreek Hill from Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, and it was 10-7. So, at this rate, it's the end of the first. I believe the final score at the end of the first quarter was 10-7 Titans as well. And the Titans also, you know, they were scoring constantly, and that's what they needed to do in this game. The Titans needed to come out with offensive urgency quick, whether they ran it or passed it. Now, I figured that this was going to be a little bit more of a pass-heavy game for the Titans because the Chiefs' defense is kind of weak. Their pass defense is not extremely strong. You do have Tyrann Mathieu there as well. He's a great ball hawk. But their pass defense was looking very good early, and Tannehill looked extremely sharp early in this game for the Titans. It was a nice trick play. It was I believe it was a pass from Derrick Henry, if I'm correct, to Dennis Kelly. And I believe this is a stat, he's a very big guy, and it gave the Titans a 17-7 lead. He was, if I'm correct, the biggest man to catch a touchdown pass in the postseason in NFL history. I don't know if that's exactly correct, but that was what was spewed out of my ears when I had to hear Jim Nantz call another game, which makes my ears bleed as well, because I don't know what it is, but I just can't stand Jim Nantz on the microphone. I absolutely love Tony Romo. I think he's great, but I can't stand Jim Nantz when he's calling a football game. So it's 17-7 Titans, and Tyreek Hill had a top speedy 20-yard pass, and just like that, it was 17-14 Titans. Now, towards the end of this first half, this is what actually aggravated my soul, is that the Titans had a chance to They had the ball and they went 3-and-out. I was praying that they didn't give the ball back to Kansas City and give them a chance to score before the half ended, because I did not want Kansas City scoring again and then getting the ball to start the second half. But that's what they did. That's what they did. Kansas City got the ball back, and this was the play of the game, or the play of all quarterbacks, at least this week in football. Patrick Mahomes had a 27-yard touchdown run to give the Chiefs a 21-17 lead going into the half. The Titans missed about 4 to 5, maybe even 6 tackles on this play. This was some of the worst tackling I've ever seen. Patrick Mahomes could not be tackled. I believe he was only sacked once in this game. And that's kind of where the difference was for me. What I said between Lamar and Mahomes is that when under pressure, Lamar has the ability to run, but Mahomes may not be as fast as Lamar Jackson, but he runs smarter, and he just knows it better, and he's just a better quarterback. He's a better throwing quarterback. And that's really what it came down to. And you could see the evolution of how the Chiefs, how Mahomes played the Titans pass rush, which was putting on some decent pressure in this game, at least in the first half, and how the Ravens handled the Titans pass rush. The thing is with the Titans pass rush is that they get it done, but they're slow. We don't have a pass rusher with speed. Jarrell Casey is not fast. Harold Landry's not fast. Daquan Jones is not. The second half comes along, and more of the Kansas City Chiefs was coming, and the Tennessee Titans was not happening. The Chiefs went right down very easy, scored on their very first possession. They made it 28-17. Then the Chiefs were able to get the ball back, and they had a huge play to Sammy Watkins. 35-17 Kansas City at this point. They're just pouring it on. The Titans did get a touchdown late to retaliate, making it 35-24, but it was simply not enough. Mahomes could not be touched. This defense got tired chasing him and the Kansas City receivers, and some penalties at bad times absolutely killed the Titans. But the final stat sheet was Tannehill was 21 for 31, 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry had only 19 carries for 69 yards despite a touchdown. Corey Davis was a top receiver with 5 receptions and 65 yards. It was a masterpiece for Mahomes. 23 for 35 with 294 yards and 3 touchdowns, also with 53 yards on the ground rushing. This was a great game for Sammy Watkins. He had 7 receptions, 114 yards and a touchdown, and Tyreek Hill had 5 receptions for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. The Titans team got tired, and the Kansas City Chiefs advanced to Super Bowl 54. Packers 49ers NFC Championship game. A lot of people were not giving the Green Bay Packers the rights that they deserved going into this game, and it almost seemed like they weren't going to get a single touchdown in this game. This was annihilation of the highest degree. However, Green Bay did attempt to make some kind of comeback in the second half of this game. The 49ers stormed very quick and fast. Raheem Mostert was great on the ground, and he was the top performer maybe of the playoffs, at least this week. He ran for 36 yards on an opening touchdown, making it 7-0 San Francisco very quickly. Robbie Gould hit a field goal. It was 10-zip San Francisco at that point. Minutes later, Mostert was added again, 18-yard rush, 17-zip San Francisco. A field goal would follow again, 20-zip San Francisco. 49ers got an interception on a turnover from the Green Bay Packers, perhaps giving them some life. In this game, Mostert had another 18-yard rush. It was 27-zip. San Francisco 49ers at the half, and everything and anything was going right their way. They were literally, Jimmy Garoppolo was pretty much a non-factor, and he might as well have sat on the bleachers in this game because he didn't do much of anything. Mostert literally did pretty much all of the load. He finished with 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. We're going to talk about the stat sheet in a minute as well, but it was just an unbelievable game for him as well. Mostert, the run game for San Francisco completely ripped the doors off the Green Bay Packers. And Jimmy Garoppolo, I think his final stat sheet was 6 for 8 for 77 yards. He literally only passed 2 times in the second half, and that's just unbelievable. Even the Titans passed more than that when you know we've had a very Derrick Henry heavy playoff run, but that's just really unbelievable at that point. At half, Rodgers comes out and they score very quickly. But just to make a point of it real quick, at halftime, Aaron Rodgers had only 65 yards. He had no touchdowns, 1 pick, 2 fumbles, and one of them was lost. And they were down 27-zip, so it was not looking very good for this Green Bay Packers team at this point. But the second half, Packers scored very, very quickly on a rush in by Jones, and it was 27-7. San Francisco still dominating at this point. But the 49ers retaliate, and it's none other than Mostert again. Rushes 22 yards right in for a touchdown. That was his 4th touchdown of the day. It was 34-7 San Francisco 49ers at this point. Then Packers retaliate back. A quick rush in by Jones for a touchdown, 34-13. The Packers would elect to go for 2 and miss on that possession. A couple minutes later, an 8-yard pass from Rodgers, touchdown as they get it back, and all of a sudden, it's 34-20 49ers, and the Green Bay Packers legitimately have a chance. Can Aaron Rodgers actually pull off this miraculous upset? And that would be something special. And somebody who was pretty much invisible on the field was George Kittle. We didn't see much of him at all, and all of a sudden he gets his first catch in the fourth quarter, and I'm like, oh my God. So the Packers did a very good job of neutralizing George Kittle's presence in this game. There was a Robbie Gould field goal, though, that they would get, as the 49ers, or the Packers would make some mistakes later. 37-20 49ers. And when it was all said and done, this was your final score. The 49ers advanced to Super Bowl 54 to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, and it should be a very good Super Bowl. 37-20 your final score. Final stat sheet, an absolute wonderful game for Raheem Mostert, 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo, non-existent, but he didn't have to be. 6 for 8, 77 yards. Phenomenal game for Rodgers, though, on the other side. He did throw a bomb deep after 2-minute warning, and Sherman did land the interception as well. So as Rodgers was throwing Hail Marys to really try to get this team back quickly, Sherman was a presence in this game as well. Like I said, still a great day for Aaron Rodgers, 31 for 38, 326 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions. Jones had a few plays, but nothing major, 56 yards and a touchdown. This was a good game for Devontae Adams, though, 9 receptions, 138 yards. The San Francisco 49ers advance to Super Bowl 54. Score: the San Francisco 49ers win this game and will advance to Miami, Florida to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We will do different videos throughout, and until then, we will probably save the Super Bowl preview until next week. Obviously, the Royal Rumble is coming up this Sunday, and I'm going to have previews on that and a review as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. As always, the pleasure is mine.